I think the ultimate value is going to be zero.
They think it's digital gold. It's just simply fool's gold. I mean, it's not going to 12,000.
There's no need to waste your time with Bitcoin. What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies looking beautiful in the green today. Bitcoin back over $19,000. Was this a giant double bottom for Bitcoin? Is that it? Are we headed to $20,000 and higher by the end of this year? Well, in my previous video, I was talking about some FUD that had come out about regulations, and I could tell by the comments that you guys don't really like those potentially bearish videos, which is all good. We do always like to look at both sides of the equation, but for everyone who is interested in the bullish case for Bitcoin, today is your video, because Bitcoin could potentially be setting up for a massive, explosive move. And not just that, I also want to talk about how Bitcoin could realistically hit over 100x of its price from what we're at today. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but we're going to talk about how that is possible. Also, for my altcoin fans out there, I want to discuss the fact that institutional investors are actually warming up to things like Ethereum and other altcoins potentially. And I'm going to talk about one altcoin specifically that I'm accumulating right now that I do think could be an amazing opportunity to accumulate before a massive blast off. Oh yeah, and you can now buy Bitcoin and crypto with Apple Pay. So all of that in today's video. If that sounds good to you, today is the last day to win a Ledger Nano S. If you're interested, drop a comment below and I will pick a random winner tomorrow. So let's dive in. Let's have a look at the chart. Now you can see right here, we had a perfect bounce right here off of the 0.23 Fibonacci, boom. And now the next level for Bitcoin to get above is that $19,920 level right here. That is the top. We need to break above that level. Having a look right here, though, interestingly enough, we did break the descending trend, and I did point the fact that we were in an ascending channel, and it does look like now that we have, touched the bottom, the top, the bottom, we could be looking to head back up and retest here, and that would put Bitcoin at around $21,500, which means we could in fact have a $20,000, a $21,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. How incredible would that be? Now, keep in mind, right now, we do have CME futures. There will be a gap, and I know the gaps. We hate to talk about the gaps, but we did, in fact, fill this previous gap. You can see we had a gap right here from around 17,805 up to around 18,300. We did come down. We did fill that gap, and now that the Bitcoin price is back up above the $1,900 level, we will in fact have another gap right here. So, question is, come Monday, are we going to look for a quick retest down to fill the gap? It's possible, but will it be enough to keep the price down? Because the way that the price has been moving recently, we are basically in a situation where Bitcoin looks like it is just totally unstoppable. It doesn't seem to care what comes out, and this is the thing. In bull markets, no amount of bad news can pull down the price, and in bear markets, no amount of good news can push up the price. And despite the regulation FUD and everything else that's been going on, we're seeing, look at this, for example, these maps of whale accumulation levels, and these are whales. These are big, high net worth potential individual wallets. We don't know who owns them, but 17,895, 18,108, $18,300. We are seeing whales buying Bitcoin at these prices. If they're loading up on Bitcoin at these prices, then I don't think that they're just looking for a mere scalp trade at 21,000. They are looking for that potential 20x, 50x, 100x for Bitcoin. Well, is that possible? Having a look at Bitcoin candles super quick, you can see right here, well, we can't really talk about the Genesis block because Bitcoin didn't have a price, but at the close of that halving, we had Bitcoin all the way from worth nothing to worth $12. Then in the next, we had it go from $12 to $658, which was over a 5,000 price pump. Then during the second halving, we had it go from 652 to 8,592, which represented a 1,218%. And so far today, we are up 120% from the third halving, which was around 8,005, and currently we are over $19,000. Could this just be getting started? Are we ready to put in one of these big green Bitcoin halving candles? Well, having a look at over here what Beastly Orion wrote, he said the price action on Bitcoin right now is something else. There's like zero sell pressure. It feels like the price is getting pulled up at this point instead of getting pushed up. Almost like instead of a rocket ship, pushing it up with momentum, it's almost like there's just a magnet sitting there sucking it up. He said, just look at those volume bars. Big pump coming, in my opinion. So get ready, guys. If we are able to break above that level, we could easily see Bitcoin, like I said, even by the end of this year, skyrocket to around 21,500. We might even continue straight through to 23,000 before even having a next big correction. Now, we had Michael Saylor. You guys know Michael Saylor, the bull at MicroStrategy. He is revealing in an interview, or he did reveal in an interview with CZ from Binance, why he believes that Bitcoin could actually 100x. And I know that number sounds astronomical, considering, a $20,000 Bitcoin 100xing. Is this guy out of his mind? Listen to this logic. He says the people that we want to appeal to are people that put their money into gold because they don't trust fiat instruments. So that's $10 trillion just there. That alone gets you a factor of 20 to 50x. But wait, there's more. The second bucket is people with bonds. 17 trillion in negative yielding debt, 100 trillion of 0 to 3% yielding debt. Why are you putting your money in bonds and sovereign wealth? It's a safe haven. So people's reaction is the market gets scary, they run to a safe haven. You position Bitcoin as the ultimate long duration safe haven asset, so they run to it instead of running to sovereign debt. That gets you another factor of 10, 20, or even 30x. But wait, there's more. And then finally, you've got a pool of big tech investors. You could argue a lot of people are using big tech like Tesla, Apple, Amazon as a store of value. They've lost faith in currency. They know they can't invest in negative yielding bonds. They're not quite sure about gold. So where do they run? Well, of course, Bitcoin, right? And he says gold is defective. It's an antiquated store of value. It was the best store of value for 5,000 years until the invention of what you're watching me on right now. No, not your phone, but the thing inside, the computer, right? It was a good idea until it became not a good idea. Now, the fact that you have guys like even Ray Dalio who have been very negative on Bitcoin, very cautious about Bitcoin, he has even come out and had to change his stance. In fact, he said that he does consider Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to have established themselves over the last decade as gold-like alternatives. He says that Bitcoin could serve as a gold diversifier and a store of hold of wealth in the future, right? So he is basically saying that this is gold 2.0. And you had Conan O'Brien coming out. Now, keep in mind, Conan O'Brien, I don't know if you guys remember the skit that he had where he had interviewed the COO of Bitcoin and he couldn't explain Bitcoin. Well, 21 hours ago, what's sadder, the end of Titanic or my son's face when I ask him to explain Bitcoin again? Now, you might take this as sort of still negatively jabbing at Bitcoin, like I just don't understand it. But at the same time, the fact that he's even bringing up that he needs to understand Bitcoin again proves that he's definitely keeping an eye on it and someone is certainly watching it. In fact, in a recent interview with Financial Magazine Barron's, you had Abigail Johnson. She's the CEO of 3.3 trillion mutual fund giant Fidelity, and she claimed that her company's custody business around Bitcoin has been incredibly successful. In fact, she's shocked that it's been so successful because she goes on to basically say, if you had asked me in the beginning if we or anyone was going to be able to prioritize custody of Bitcoin, I would have said no way. I mean, that's kind of the opposite of what it's all about, but that is the thing. For example, even what we've seen with Grayscale, right? Why would people want to, have a custody that owns Bitcoin? Isn't the idea behind Bitcoin to be your own bank and hold your own private keys? Let's be honest, not everyone wants that responsibility. And yeah, I own my own Bitcoin. I have my own private keys, and hopefully you do as well. But the 99% of the world is used to having a bank account where when they forget their password, they call their bank up and say, hey, here's my secret passphrase. Can I get my password back, right? Most people are not ready for that kind of responsibility. And just pointing out the fact that we've had a massive purchase of Bitcoin last week, another 280 million in Bitcoin for Grayscale. But you're probably tired of hearing about that. Well, guess what just happened? According to a recent report that they filed with the SEC, Grayscale now has reported purchasing, are you ready for this? 11,455 ETH, totaling $75 million. So where is this demand coming from? Well, it's coming from those family offices. It's coming from those high net worth individuals. Their purchase of Ethereum tokens is a sign of institutional interest and shows just how big is the appetite of traditional investors for this emerging market. Unlike a typical exchange, Grayscale's products are fully regulated derivatives in the US, making it completely safe to jump in and operate with them. This is major. This is huge. This shows that institutions are not only warming up to Bitcoin, but also some of the Bitcoin alternatives out there. And let's be honest, there is a lot of money to be made in altcoins. Now, I do still think Bitcoin is the ultimate hedge, the ultimate store of value. I wouldn't not hold Bitcoin, not financial advice, but if you are holding altcoins, I would still hold some Bitcoin. And you might look at Bitcoin and say, well, it's not really moving, but you have to look at Bitcoin as an accumulation, right? You dollar cost average in Bitcoin, you hold Bitcoin, and that money, it's like a savings account, right? It goes up. But for those quick investments, we do look into altcoins. Now, one of the altcoins that you guys may have, by the way, really almost all of these altcoins in my top 10 altcoin video that I put out in June is doing quite well. One of them that I had mentioned was Kusama. Kusama was around $5. You can see right here, it was $5.34 at the time of recommending the video. Today, Kusama is around $51. It was a little bit higher. It did have a slight pullback, which means we did in fact get a 10x from the time that I made that video. And these are just the tip of the icebergs of these pumps that you are going to see in these altcoins in the future. But the coin, the big coin of the day that I wanted to talk about, that I am accumulating, and I am looking for a bit of a breakout, but maybe not right away. We could have a little bit more opportunity to accumulate, but I want to let you guys know beforehand. So I'm not saying it's going to pump tomorrow, but I do think we're looking for a big breakout soon, and that is Kusama's bigger, older brother, Polkadot, guys. Now, Polkadot, you can see right here, I believe, has formed a very nice bottom right here. It has had some previous resistance. It barely broke above it. It did fall down. Now, we are having some difficulty with this 21 exponential on the daily. I do believe that there could potentially be maybe a couple more days worth of this accumulation down here before we do have the breakout and we do try to test this resistance again. However, having a look at this curve right here, I don't believe that you have more than, I would say, a month maximum for accumulation. And you know that these altcoins usually don't make it to the end of their moves. And I do believe that the move from where we are right now, $5, breaking up to potentially $6 could happen quite suddenly. So it's been an excellent time to accumulate Polkadot in my opinion. And I do believe that with not only the technicals looking good, but the fundamentals, we are seeing the Polkadot ecosystem absolutely booming. By the way, have you actually sent Polkadot? Like, have you actually done any transactions on Polkadot? It is incredibly fast, and with their parachains and their abilities for cross, chain and different interoperabilities, I honestly think, although I am a fan of ETH 2.0, I don't think ETH 2.0 is going to be taken down. I think it's made its mark. It's a household name, Ethereum, or it will be soon, right? But I do believe that there will be alternatives. Just like there's multiple car companies, there's multiple cellular phone companies, there's different options for things. You can buy a Samsung, you can buy an iPhone. I think that we will be living in a world where Ethereum and Polkadot will actually live in harmony. Will Polkadot be able to take the Ethereum share? Probably not, maybe not. We'll have to see, but long term, I wouldn't bet against this one. So that is something I wanted to mention. And also, you can now buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies using Apple Pay via Lumi Wallet. How many people out there use Apple Pay? I know a lot of people started using it recently with the pandemic. You know, you have that touchless buying over, you know, you go to the grocery store, you just tap it right on the thing. You don't even have to touch the pad, right? And now look at this. You can actually buy Bitcoin and multiple different ERC20s. They have Chainlink, Compound, Basic Attention. They have USDC, USDT, USDS, BUSD. They have Wrapped Bitcoin. YFI is on there. So yeah, Maker, Aave. So this is just the beginning for this. And having a look over here, there's a little bit of a limit. Okay, they have $500 per purchase per day for US users with a $5,000 per year limit, which might be considered kind of low for most people. However, just consider that this is probably just they're testing it out. I'm sure they're going to raise the limits. You know, Coinbase used to be quite low as well. But keep in mind that Apple Pay is one of the biggest mobile payment providers in the world, and they have over 383 million users. So thinking about all the Apple Pay users, thinking about the other 380 million PayPal users, there's a lot of exposure happening right now for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It is getting very, very easy for lots of people to buy. But that is it for me today, guys. Let me know, are you bullish? Are you bearish? You think Monday's going to open and we're just going to dump? Are we going to fill the gap? Or is this rocket ship set to blast through to 21, 22, 23K by the end of this year in 2 weeks? I don't know. It's possible. Could it happen? Well, let me know what you think about that in the description, comments below. If you want the ledger, drop a comment below. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. Get signed up to the... I don't have anything to sign up for, actually. I do have a free Telegram, though. If you want, you can check that out. Also, links below in the description. Don't forget, lots of different bonuses on all these different exchanges, so check that out if you guys want. But that is it for me. Thank you for coming back. My name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And, of course, peace out.